Hey folks, welcome to Casting with Kirk. I'm Kirk, so glad to join me today. Today I'd like to talk to you about a really fun lure to fish, and that is called a topwater popper. Now these lures are a hard-bodied bait. They got a couple of treble hooks on them, but what makes them unique is when they float, they've got this concaved mouth. And as you're moving it across the water, that mouth is creating a commotion. It's spitting water. It's creating bubbles. It's creating this commotion that really excites the bass. Now, along with that, some of them, like this one in particular, will walk, what they call walk the dog action, back and forth as you're popping it across the water. Now, the way you fish this lure is you cast it out, cover a lot of distance, get a biggest cast as you can get, let it hit the water, let it sit there for just a moment. A lot of times that's when the bass will notice it. They'll be like, hey, there's something there to eat. You begin with your rod tip pointed down and you're going to give it twitches, just small little pops as you're reeling up that slack line between the pops. And what that's doing is it's moving the bait across the water, creating that commotion. Now I like to fish them on, say, a 6'6", either bait casting rod or a spinning rod. And I'll go anywhere, usually around 10 to 12 pound monofilament, because that monofilament floats. Now, when a bass explodes on one of these, when it hits it, you have to give it just a half second, maybe even a second before you go to set the hook. Give it time to get a hold of it, get it underwater and in their mouth. Now, just a word of caution, when you do go for a hook set with one of these, and if you miss that bass, they will come popping up out of the water on a strong hook set, and they'll come flying back at you or your partner in the boat like a bullet. So you have to be aware of that. Now, color-wise, I like to keep it really simple. Shad color. I like to go with a shad color. I do have one or two odd variations depending upon the area that I'm fishing, like a frog. If I'm fishing, say, open lily pads or along a weed edge, I might go with a frog color. Now, there are different style lips. You've got some that actually have an extra lip to it. That really creates a lot of bubbles, a lot of spitting. Your standard concaved mouth. And then this is one of my favorites. I really love this. It's a head and spitting image. And it's got that concaved mouth, spits a lot of water, creates that commotion, but it also walks across the surface. Now, most of them are going to come with 2 treble hooks. I like the ones that have the little feather at the end of it. That creates a little more commotion in the water that attracts the bass to them. Go get yourself just 1, maybe 2 of these. Get out there. They're great from the shore because you can cover a ton of water. You can get real good distances to get in open water along the shoreline. Aim along those docks, drop-off areas, next to laydowns. But thank you folks for joining me today. You folks have yourself a great day.